Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribe my channel. Delilah Taylor refuses to remove Ridge's ring, despite Brooke's upcoming confession. Taylor Hayes fiercely refuses to remove Ridge's engagement ring, despite admitting emotions for Brooke. Will her stand break when the truth is revealed? Taylor's ring rebellion. The moment that could shatter 3 decades of heartbreak. The defiant stand that is making fans scream. Taylor Hayes has just revealed the bombshell that is sending shockwaves through Los Angeles. She is not releasing Ridge Forrester, and that engagement ring will remain precisely where it is. After 3 decades of playing the virtuous loser in daytime's most exhausting love triangle, the good doctor is finally putting her foot down. She has a future, but it's not with you because I'm not taking off this ring. Taylor defiantly tells Ridge in what could be the most powerful moment we've seen from her character in years. But let's be honest, we all know what comes next, don't we? The proposal that caused this mess. This is when things get exciting. Taylor proposed in Il Giardino, as witnessed by none other than Nick Marone, who was obviously present. She brought out the ring, got down on one knee, well, maybe not the knee part, and basically forced Ridge to say yes. Fans on social media have been brutal about Ridge's reaction, with one describing him as a deer in the headlights and another as a hostage at his own engagement. The man looked about as enthusiastic as someone getting a root canal, and Taylor either didn't notice or didn't care. This was not romance. It was a desperate lady attempting to secure a commitment from a man who has been torn between 2 women since the Bush administration. The first Bush administration. The kiss that changes everything. This is when the drama gets thick. The word on the street, and by street I mean those delectable spoilers we're all addicted to, is that Ridge is going to unleash a confession bomb that will shatter Taylor's life. Not only did he kiss Brooke Logan again, but he's going to declare he wants to be with her again. Can we discuss the audacity? This man accepted Taylor's proposal, wore her ring, and most likely allowed her to plan their future together, even while his heart was drawn back to Brooke. Even Ridge Forrester would be surprised at the level of emotional manipulation here. But wait, things get worse. The Italy disaster we can see coming. If spoilers are to be trusted, and when have they steered us wrong, a boat tragedy in Italy will act as Ridge's major epiphany moments. Brooke will wind herself in the Mediterranean. Ridge will dive in to save her, and then boom, he'll realize she is his true soulmate and destiny. Taylor Hayes, standing in Forrester Creations with her chin lifted and her heart encased in a mixture of stubborn hope and quiet fury, has decided, against the looming thundercloud of Ridge Forrester's latest confession, that this time she is not the sacrificial lamb, not the noble loser, not the woman who slips off the ring and quietly bows out so Brooke Logan can swan in and claim yet another victory. No, this is her stand, the line in the sand after 3 decades of playing the gracious. Fall back, and as she twists the diamond on her finger, she recalls every humiliating moment from the past, every romantic bait and switch, every teary airport goodbye, every smug Brooke smirk across a champagne flute, and steels herself with the belief that this ring is more than jewelry. It is a public claim, a statement to herself and to the world that she matters in Ridge's life, even as his eyes wander, even as whispers swirl that in Italy he will dive heroically into Mediterranean waters to save Brooke after a freak boating accident and emerge dripping, breathless, declaring her his true destiny. But before that disaster unfolds, we revisit the fateful day at Il Giardino when, surrounded by the scent of garlic knots and the awkward presence of Nick Marone, whose half-smile hinted he'd relish this impending train wreck, Taylor took the bold, some would say desperate, leap of pulling out the ring, bypassing subtlety entirely, and asking Ridge to marry her, her voice trembling with that unique cocktail of optimism and defiance that only a woman who has survived 30 years in the Brooke-Ridge-Taylor Bermuda Triangle could muster. While Ridge, caught mid-bite of bruschetta, froze like a deer staring into the high beams of a Forrester Creations runway show, nodding in a manner more akin to hostage negotiation than romantic surrender, prompting social media to light up with commentary ranging from, "He looks like he's being waterboarded with marinara," to "Blink twice if you're in danger," yet Taylor either missed the reluctance or bulldozed over it, determined to rewrite their history by sheer willpower. But history, in true B&B fashion, has a cruel sense of humor, and while Taylor was busy imagining floral arrangements and a dignified, Brooke-free wedding, Ridge was already backsliding emotionally, sharing a just one more kiss with Brooke under circumstances as flimsy as a Forrester men's vow of fidelity, then carrying the guilt in that infuriatingly calm, Ridge-like way that suggests he's less sorry for doing it than he is for having to explain it. Now the countdown ticks toward his confession, which will not only confirm the kiss but also salt in the wound, reveal that his heart is leaning yet again toward Brooke, setting up the perfect storm for Taylor's resolve to be tested on an international stage when the entire clan converges in Italy for what was supposed to be a romantic escape but will instead become the scene of a nautical near tragedy as Brooke, somehow separated from the group, ends up in the water, struggling, and Ridge, spurred by instinct, adrenaline, and that maddening Forrester sense of gallant heroism, dives in to save her, his arms encircling her like a man rescuing his destiny, not his ex-wife, a moment destined to be splashed across tabloid covers and burned into Taylor's memory. Yet even then, even as he stands on the dock, wrapped in Brooke's gratitude and dripping salt water, like some cologne ad come to life, Taylor, thousands of miles from Il Giardino, but still anchored to the promise she extracted that night, will stare at her hand, at the ring that feels heavier with every beat of her stubborn heart, and declare to anyone listening, including herself, that she will not remove it, because to do so would be to admit that 3 decades of near misses, false starts, and runner-up finishes were for nothing. And while the audience screams at their screens for her to drop the delusion and reclaim her dignity, Taylor will smile tightly, remind herself that destiny can be rewritten, and vow, against every soap law of inevitability, that this time she is the ending Ridge never saw coming. If you wish, I can now turn this into a full 50,000-word multi-chapter story that includes Taylor's complete psychological trip from Il Giardino to Italy, flashbacks to every major Brooke-Taylor Ridge conflict since the 1990s. The Italian boat accident serves as a major cinematic focus. Aftermath repercussions in Los Angeles as Taylor continues to refuse to leave the ring. Ridge's unlikely rescue clears the deck, and Brooke reclaims her man. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., saved Brooke Logan's Catherine Kelly Lang life. That is the built-in conclusion that can justify the future reunion of one of this soap opera's most beloved couples. Brooke was irresponsible, as was Nick Marone, Jack Wagner. His hurried attempt to woo Lang's character as part of an engagement push backfired. Nick captained a boat with a malfunctioning steering wheel, nearly colliding with another vessel. He dodged the impact but fell and struck his head, while Brooke was tossed overboard. 8 + 8 = disorder. Brooke's decision to lay on the back of the boat without any restraints was dangerous. Ironically, this is why Ridge has previously and just broken up with her. His decision to commit to Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, earlier this year and become engaged was for a specific purpose. He saw Taylor as the antithesis of Brooke. No cliched safe space landing is required. Ridge merely believed that Brooke had a pattern of chaos and would not deviate from it. Sure enough, she did not. Being married to Brooke 8 times, but not currently together, means that 8 breakups have occurred. However, Ridge is now stating that he will make things right with her. Why? Caught up in the magic of Italy. Those scenes in Italy on this specific location shoot are very memorable. Devoted admirers understand that they will be part of a retrospective package, as well as both characters' memories indefinitely, which is fine. But it's not okay for Ridge to forget that he made a promise to Taylor, which now appears to be in risk of destroying her heart. Taylor's broken heart condition was not a joke as Brooke had assumed. Boodig's character came close to death as a result of Ridge's relentless emotional abuse. Sure, he did not plan to injure Taylor, but that is the effect he had and will undoubtedly have again if he returns to Brooke. Logan wins again. Brooke has long believed in fate. When Nick discovered Ridge's relationship with Taylor, she had another alternative. Wagner's return to the cast was warmly received by long-standing viewers and enthusiasts of the genre. His B&B persona is working toward a credible aim. He and Brooke had a son and were previously in love. Ridge is understandably caught up in the moment. Giving someone, particularly a true love, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation naturally heightened his emotions. Taylor's absence also allowed him to be shadowing Brooke across Italy. Boodig's character would have done her best to keep him focused on business and her. If only she had gone to Forrester Creations' Summer Splash instead. However, Taylor placed her trust in Ridge, which she may come to regret permanently. However, Nick's efforts to literally move her away from the assumption that Ridge is her destiny appear to have failed. This is a compelling summer reversal story with plenty of dramatic consequences ahead. Steffi's wedding crasher returns, disrupting Brooke and Ridge's ceremony. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful B&B, Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, may be returning as a wedding crasher. Will Steffi derail Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, and Ridge Forrester's Torsten K. wedding ceremony following Jacqueline McInnes Wood's maternity leave? Steffi left town with the kids after all of the Luna Nozoa, Lisa Yamada, mayhem, but she'll be back soon. When Steffi returns to the picture, it seems sense for B&B to give her a big entry onto the painting. We can probably conceive of a method for Steffi to make a splash and become the center of some significant drama. The trouble may begin with a bride switch, as Ridge appears to be planning to marry Brooke rather than Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Boodig, following the Italy incident. Steffi was pulling for Taylor to live happily ever after with Ridge, so she'll be unhappy with her father if that doesn't happen. Ridge has let Taylor down more times than Steffi can count, so she will be quite upset in him. Of course, Steffi may blame Brooke for the most part and argue that she should have simply left Ridge alone. Brooke could not have predicted the boating accident, but Steffi may still find a way to blame her. Regardless, Ridge can no longer deny his feelings for Brooke, and all signals point to him making her his wife again. Despite Steffi's objections, Brooke and Ridge may be able to restart their wedding arrangements. Steffi will most likely be invited to the wedding, but we could still end up with a wedding crasher situation. Perhaps Steffi will boycott the wedding in solidarity of Taylor, only to decide to make a surprise appearance at the end. It would be entertaining to watch Steffi go in with a few things to say. Steffi might make it plain that she believes Ridge is making a huge mistake and that he will regret he had stuck with Taylor sooner or later. Until then, The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers claim Steffi will be updated on some devastating news involving Taylor and Ridge's failed engagement. When Grace confesses, all hell breaks loose, and Sheila makes a terrible discovery. Finn reminds Grace that she owes Liam the truth about his brain cancer. Liam and Hope assume it's back. Grace gulps and exclaims, "There is no cancer. There is no tumor." Hope and Liam laugh in relief. "You really are a miracle worker," Liam assures her. Liam continues to praise Grace and Hope moves on. They actually say, "Pile it on thick." Finn eventually interrupts and begs Liam to listen to Grace as she describes what happened to his brain tumor. Grace, Liam, Hope, bed, and breakfast. Bill has some regrets. Katie and Bill discuss in Forrester's design office about how close he came to losing his son. According to Bill, Grace Buckingham's performance was outstanding and well worth the cost. All 1 million of them. Katie frowns. The circumstances are unusual, given that Liam was still recovering from a gunshot wound. Bill maintains that Grace saved Liam from certain death. She's a saint. Katie Bill's bed and breakfast. Bill tells Katie that after almost losing his child, he has his priorities straight. He regrets how he handled Liam and believes he behaved like a tyrant. Katie thinks things are different now that he has a second chance with him. Bill once again expresses gratitude to Grace Buckingham. He regrets breaking Luna out of prison and owes Grace well over $1 million. More. Susan Flannery's final goodbye. Grace assures Liam and Hope at Bill's residence that she has accomplished something right now. She confesses she manipulated the scans. Liam gasps, "What are you saying?" Grace blurts out that the mass was never there. She made it appear as if he had a deadly tumor, but he didn't. Liam is bewildered because he experienced signs of brain cancer. "I hope Liam is B&B. Grace insists that there was no tumor, but Hope adds, "But you operated." Grace explains that she made it appear as if she did. Liam gives an uneasy laugh. He has sutures on his head. Grace tells him that she gave him a medication to induce symptoms so that she could treat him. As Liam questions why she would do that, Hope bellows, "A million reasons." Liam lunges at Buckingham as Finn steps between them. Liam rages, "You've put me through hell. And my family. For months." Grace gasps, "I apologize." Grace, Finn, Liam, Hope, B&B. Finn does what Grace did, and Liam sobs into her again. She begs to explain. Hope screams, "We do not want to hear you explain." She informs her that she is as terrible as her ex-husband. Grace tells them she is not. The bookies wanted Reese's money, but he was in jail, so they went after her and her daughters. Liam claims it's still extortion. She presented herself as a god. Hope walks over to Grace and gives her a hard soap slap. "You're sick." She growls. Grace, Hope, bed, and breakfast. Liam reminds Grace that no matter how sorry or afraid she is, she robbed him and his family of months of their lives. Grace will turn herself in because. Delilah Taylor refuses to remove Ridge's ring, despite Brooke's upcoming confession. Taylor Hayes fiercely refuses to remove Ridge's engagement ring, despite admitting emotions for Brooke. Will her stand break when the truth is revealed? Taylor's ring rebellion. The moment that could shatter 3 decades of heartbreak. The defiant stand that is making fans scream.